Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Pause the video right now to check out my social media, my radio show, and thatdrummerguy.com. And most of all, enjoy the following presentation. Hello?
Is this Josh?
Yes, it is.
Hey, this is Mikey from Savage Hands.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having us, man.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm always about discovering new music and being able to help promote bands that I really feel people need to hear about. And this is definitely one of those cases here with Savage Hands. I mean, with this new EP coming out on Friday, of course, the debut EP, I mean, I really love the direction that you guys are going in, both musically, lyrically. I mean, it just feels so very fresh and inspired, and it's awesome to be able to talk about it.
Absolutely, man. Like, I'm ready to explain it.
So, with that, starting off, how did this whole band come to be?
Okay, can you hear me fine?
Yes, I can.
Okay, cool. So yeah, actually, like, Savage Hands, first started as a no-name project. Some of the previous members in my old band, we had decided that, we were going to continue music and try to create something that was fresh and different from what we had been doing that seemed like, wasn't really going to take us anywhere. So we started, recording with the same person that we had been with, which was Andrew Bayless. And, we told him we wanted to do something different. So, we started to lay down some rougher, like, stuff, rather than screaming and things like that. Still have a little bit of that in there, but we definitely wanted to experiment with my voice a lot more. The guys thought that I had a good voice, so they wanted me to push it a little bit. And then we started accumulating, the other members of the band, basically by the progression of the demos got better. Our producer kind of started showing some of the other bands that he had been recording or other projects that, didn't have a name either, and kind of said, hey, the band, they really need a big guitarist. Guys might want to check it out. It might be something worthwhile. And once we got, because at first it was just me, Justin, which is our guitarist, and then Johnny, which is the drummer, and it was just us three. And later Nate, he's bass and vocals as well, and then Ryan, which he's our other guitarist. So once we had like a solid 5 demos that actually sounded good, we started seeing if anybody wanted the team, and that's pretty much how it came to be.
Yeah, and it's great to see that it did work out in such that way too. I mean, being in bands previously myself, I mean, I always know the struggle of how it is, whether it's different band members or just victims of circumstance or stylistic changes or whatever the case is. And when you do find a group of musicians that does want to go towards the same goal, write the same kind of music, and just puts their entire heart and soul into it, it's always such a great feeling. And I definitely hear that with Savage Hands. I mean, I can tell all of you guys are so passionate about writing this kind of music, and it just definitely shines through.
Yeah, we definitely collaborate everybody around this area of North Maryland, around. There's a lot of that are good at what they do here.
Still there? Hello?
You there?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we definitely cycle through a lot of people around here, just trying to find the right fit. It's just hard to find a group of dedicated guys that would do anything, and I think we definitely have that now.
So with that, of course, with the new EP coming out this Friday, where did the title come from for Barely Alive?
So, Barely Alive was the song name of the first track that we had actually written as a demo. And that track was the deciding factor on kind of the whole idea behind Savage Hands. It was, about taking the deepest, darkest, negative stories about our lives and trying to express them in a way that people understand, but also understand that you can move on from it. And Barely Alive is one of my darkest times in life. The song is about a family member that had a very rough addiction problem and almost didn't make it. So the types of emotions that put me through is something that a lot of people can relate to, and I felt like that song and the name needed to be the focal point for the record because some of these emotions that we portray are the lowest lows for us and for everyone else around, and I feel in order to be able to move on from that negative state, you have to accept it, and that song is about reaching your your lowest low, and accepting that you're there, and trying to do whatever you got to do to get up from it. Whether you use the negative emotions or make positives out of it, whatever you have to do to get off your feet, you got to do it. So that we're not really like one of those bands that try to like preach all that stuff, but that song is definitely the title of this EP for that reason. I just wanted that to be the focal point.
Yeah, and it definitely makes a lot of sense. I mean, and it's great to see, even though the circumstances, of course, but just the fact that you can take something that's so personal and being able to help spread that across the world. Whether someone's dealing with the exact same kind of situation or they're dealing with other dark times in life. Just like that positive message of being able to have that acceptance and being able to move on. I mean, it's a great message that everyone can take something from.
Absolutely.
So with that, I mean, you said that was the first song that you've gotten to demo, and of course, making that the focal point of the EP. With that song, how did you know which direction you wanted the band to go in once that song was starting to get in order?
So we actually we pre-produced that song here at home with our good friend Jesus. He's kind of like our at-home producer. We have like a weird writing process where we write with him, and then we take the demos from him, and then we take them to Andrew Bayless, which is he's out in Ohio, and we use stuff from that. So we were busy writing with Jesus when we wrote that, and we told him the direction that we were going, like that we wanted to do more singing and have more meaningful lyrics and make things make more sense and not have as much like metaphors and riddles. We wanted to just make it all blunt, and so I mean, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but we just pretty much started writing, and if something was trash, we started over again. That song took a long time to write, for sure. And I wrote all the lyrics by myself at first, and then when we got Nate in the band and we re-recorded that song at Andrews, him and I touched base with the song again and revamped it and made it even better, and that's what it is now. The revised version between him and I. It's always good. Our writing process is kind of hard between him and I because if it's a personal story of mine, I'm letting someone else in, and that's not always easy. But Nate's one of my best friends, and he's a really smart guy, and I trust him, and it's good. It's almost like free therapy to relieve, for sure.
Yeah, and again, that's just a great way to look at it, and it's great to see that being able to find the right musicians, especially in this case, especially when you're dealing with things that have actually happened in your past and making those emotional stories coming through in a song. It's like it takes the right person to be able to really be able to show that off, especially if they're contributing to it and they weren't a part of that. So the fact that you have someone like that to be able to help with the song like that and make it even bigger and better, I definitely think it worked out for the best, because that is one of the most standout tracks to me, and it's great to see with the backstory and everything that happened to it. It's just it really shows off of what the band is capable of, and it happened right from the beginning.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy to me. I didn't decide, we didn't decide on the actual title of the EP until the very end, and I think it was best, that way, because these songs were written over a span of a year and a half, 2 years. So my thought process back when we wrote this was clearly different from what it is now. But after collecting, all of my thoughts and listening to the track in its specific listening over and over and over again, that's when we decided, hey, this is what this is. All these stories are like a figure of speech. We're barely alive. And so that's definitely how it is.
So with that, of course, mentioning again, Buried Alive does. I imagine that you have been getting reviews and reception to the EP. What has been the reception to the EP so far?
So far it's been really great. It's honestly, it's sort of blew my mind because I mean, everybody that's in this band is previously locally known bands, that do well, and it's always been positive and negative critiquing, 50-50. But so far, I mean, it's going all the way down to YouTube. So far, it's been very high percentage of positive notes and things like that, and it's really refreshing because we worked so hard on this and we were so patient throughout all of this. A lot of bands that I know that were in the same position as us, whether it be in the past.
Hello?
I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's all right. But yeah, I was just saying, it's great to be able to see that. I mean, whether it's someone across the world on YouTube being able to check out your stuff and loving what you're doing, whether it's your local scene and other bands and fans from previous bands are appreciating what you're doing. I mean, it's a great feeling being able to put your heart and soul into a new project, put out a brand new release, and seeing a great overall positive reception to it.
Yeah, and I think we haven't really been like trying to get our message out verbally as much yet, because we're just we want everybody to accept the music first. Whether or not they grasp our intentions from it is fine right now, but the main focal point is just to get them to accept and love it for what it is, and then later on if they find use of it in their daily lives and hardships or whatever they're going through, like that's awesome. That's that's what it's created for. But right now we just really want people to like it, and we want people to enjoy it and spread it, have its hands throughout the world. And I think that's what's going on so far, and it's just really great success. Like I said, man, so much time and effort was put into this, and like I used to be this old.
Are you still there?
Did you hear me?
Oh yeah, it started dropping out a little bit at the end.
I'm sorry, man. My service is trash out here, but but yeah, it was like I make a pretty decent amount of money with my job that I do now, so I was always funding the band a lot, and it makes it all worth it,
Oh yeah, I can totally imagine. I mean, especially when you yourself are putting in like so much financial into the band, just like being able to reap the rewards, whether it's just the fan base being able to grow and being able to relate to the music. I imagine with upcoming live shows and everything, being able to help promote the release that's coming up. I mean, when you start to see things take off the way that it has, when you put so much time, effort, financial security, and just finding the right group of musicians, there's no better feeling.
Absolutely.
So with that, a little bit I just touched on, and of course again the new EP coming out on Friday. What's going to be coming next after the release of the EP?
So like we've already started writing more demos and heading back to the studio and doing some things that we're going to be possibly dropping in the meantime, between now and summertime. We've got some things that we've already finished and finalized on. I'm not going to say because I don't want to ruin it, but
oh sure.
Yeah, and our booking agent is working on some tours for us, just some regional touring for around spring, summer, and hopefully new music in the fall. That's what we're shooting for.
Oh, it's so cool to see that, and yeah, it's great to see that you guys are capitalizing on the creative juices that are going right now. I mean, the fact that you do have a new EP that's coming out on Friday, and the fact that you already got some new stuff in the works. I mean, whatever the case that is, I mean, it's great to see that 2018 is going to be filled with a bunch of new music from the band.
Yeah, like I said, like the songs may be new to everyone else, and it's going to be that way for a while, but they're not new to us, and we've been itching to like get back to our creative flow again and see if we can make something better than what we just created. And I think we're well on our way there. But it's definitely time to get back in there and start creating again for sure.
Oh, definitely. And yeah, being able to capitalize it on that too. I mean, like the fact that it is so new, and like releasing an EP. I mean, with just under 26 minutes, people are going to be begging for new music once they be able to check this out. I mean, once they start to really get to know those 7 songs. So again, the fact that you guys are capitalizing on that and going to be releasing new music throughout the year, that is such a great thing to be able to do. Plus the regional touring that'll be coming up as well.
Yeah, and that's why Sharptone gave us the option to either when we came to them, we had I think we had like 10 songs or 11. No, we had 11 songs, and we came to them and they said, so you guys, some of the songs like any other band weren't going to make a cut. So they were like, you guys can either like go back to the studio and do some more songs, or we cut it as an EP. And we decided that an EP would be best because it would leave people on their toes wanting more, and the demand would be higher for us. And that's what we're really trying to do right now. That's why we're not out on the road. We're just trying to create a large demand. And I know that a lot of people in the industry think that you need to tour to like raise your demand, but it's also, like you said, 2018, and there's plenty of other ways to get your band out there other than just tour. Yeah, I think that right now we trying to figure it out. If it does work, we'll underperform, but it seems to be working so far. So
yeah, and that's what's important too, because you never know what's the song that's going to be catching on, and just like really building up a fan base. You never know like what show it's going to be that people start to talk about you. You never know what release it's going to be. So just like being able to focus on what you think is going to be right, because like we both said, with it being 2018, there is no like clear-cut path to be able to make your way to get known. So why not be able to keep those creative juices going, write the most passionate music that you can, and then when you feel like it's the right time, being able to go out and tour and being able to show those songs in a live capacity.
Yeah.
So with that, I mean, obviously with a touring that will be coming in the horizon once everything does align, what should people expect from a live show from you guys?
A lot of energy. That's what, you know, when I was growing up, and I went to my first concert, I'm small now, but I was like very small, back, I think it was like 2005 was my first like metal show. And, I wasn't allowed to go in the club, but, you know, I saw how fun it was. Everybody was everything going, moshing or stage diving or crowd surfing. You know, I want to bring back like a really fun and positive aspect of like show. So, you know, a lot of positive energy for sure, and a lot of laughter. We like to, I don't know, make fun of each other in real life. But I think, you know, that the people can enjoy the live show a little bit more. You know, it's not as so serious on stage. You know, everybody's always so serious on stage and synchronization and this and that. Like, you know, we're just trying to be up here and rock out harder than the other guy. You know, at the end of the show, you know, I'll tease my guitarist and be like, you know, I saw Brian over there rocking out harder than you, and then, you know, get them all in the field and stuff. We just mess with each other a lot, and that, you know, I want, usually you always hear about like all the phones are on the vocalist, and, you know, everybody's all about the vocalist, but, you know, I want to go out there like focusing on everybody in the band, and that's why my guys just go as hard as they absolutely can so that they get some vocal recognition too. Like, it's just high energy from everybody for sure.
Yeah, and that definitely sounds like it's going to be a great time once all that comes to fruition. I mean, the fact that you're able to put out such passionate songs and then being able to have a fun live show to go along with that. I mean, it definitely sounds like when you go to one of these shows, I mean, it's just going to be a very fun-filled night. You know, obviously having a great positive message with that. But, you know, just like you said, there are so many bands that are so serious about their live show, making sure everything is just absolutely perfect rather than making sure that people are having a good time. And I'm glad to see that you guys are focusing on making sure that yourselves and the audience are going to be having a great time.
For sure. Just trying to give it like more of an organic feel rather than, you know, choreography, I guess. I don't want to say it like that because not every band out there is like that, but it's just like we just want to be as organic as possible, and just really just have fun and let people know we're having fun. Even if something on the back line's going wrong, you know, we're still having fun up there and making sure everybody else is.
Yeah, and that's definitely the right approach, and I commend you guys for being able to do that. I mean, the approach that you guys are doing here, like focusing on making sure you have the best possible songs and then focusing on the live show aspect, I definitely think it's a great approach for what's being done here, and I'm very excited to see what's going to be coming in the future with that, because, I mean, if this is what you guys are doing right now with Barely Alive, I can't wait to see everything that's going to be coming out in the future.
Thanks, man. Yeah, like the only thing that, you know, we're up against is the time factor, and like right now we feel like we're behind because it's just like we've always been like 2 steps ahead. Like, you know, when we wrote this, it started 2 years ago, and we had to kind of like almost guess on like what people were going to be into right now. You know, because I was in our last band, you know, we had like a definitive like sound with, you know, like kind of like Icy Stars sounding band, like heavy with like electronic stuff behind it, and we released it too late, you know, and it was just too late for it, so it didn't really get any traction. But, you know, we took a pretty good guess on, you know, what we thought would create traction, and also like loved it for what it was. Like from the start, though, it turned out to be like the best stuff that we ever created, and, you know, that's what we're up against on this next one, is hopefully trying to create something that people are going to like in about a year. It's every band downfall. You know, everyone's always got to try to guess on what is going to be cool in a year or two, and it's hard, but hopefully, you know, they recognize our sound and we just capitalize on it from there, which is, you know, what we're doing, and they like it regardless of what's cool and what's not.
Oh, definitely. And with that, I think that's a great note to end on. Thank you so very much for taking the time to be able to talk to me about everything that's going on in the world of Savage Hands right now. Debut EP, Barely Alive, coming out this Friday through Sharptone. And, you know, again, with being able to check out this EP, really being able to divulge into all 7 tracks here, I mean, it's really awesome to see, like, from the ashes of what all of you guys have been through, whether it's personally, in the music world, whatever the case is, the fact that you guys were able to come together and write such a passionate EP that I really hope does get the traction that it deserves, because there are so many great elements to this band that I know is just going to be able to flourish from years to come, and when it comes to live shows and upcoming releases and stuff. And it was just awesome to be able to talk to you about all of that.
Yeah, thanks for that, man. It's like I said, I mean, this is like the first time that I've been doing phone interviews and things like like that. So it's really cool to hear what others have to say about the music and ask me all these questions and actually care, because I'm not used to that. So it's really refreshing and nice to like get that type of feedback. So thank you.
Oh, not a problem. And